Hello again, welcome. This is Aluminum Tower. We're going to be doing the reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We're doing this as we enter Aquarius season, so hopefully this message gives you some kind of a guidance system or a plan as to how you want to approach that. And from what I see in the cards at the moment, which I've already shuffled and laid out, we're going to have to face that. I'll just explain and throughout the reading. But one thing we can definitely say, there is a lot of power plays, coming into effect as we have both the Sun, Pluto, and Mercury taking place in the sign of Aquarius for this particular period in time now. And it's not going to be an easy journey, to say the least, but I can definitely say that what you are now going to be faced with is plumbing the depths of whatever your psyche or your unconscious needs to explore in order for you to heal and become whole again. That's the message that I'm getting intuitively here. But as we start this message, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss updates from future postings. Feel free to subscribe whenever you find these messages. That way we can boost these messages in the algorithm. And also, if you want to give a monetary contribution, because I don't do tarot readings for people that are personal readings, but I just say, hey, if you want to contribute a quid, renminbi, euro, whatever, dollar, feel free to do that. That goes a long way. So now as we go into this season, we're looking at you. This is your card, Aquarius, Mother of Swords, and that is going to be the Queen of Swords. That typically is a Libran card, but also I look at it as kind of like Libra, Aquarius, Gemini in general. And we have more air energy here as your challenge, which is the Nine of Swords. And that is my Terratoma card, which I explain in a few other of the messages throughout this particular series of readings. However, what we're looking at, we see here, the Queen of Swords in reverse means a person who is deeply bitter about their particular circumstances, feeling wronged, feeling a sense of injustice, and wanting to correct the mistakes thereof, but actually, facing it in a very, very mentally kind of confused, unclear, or potentially bitchy vibe to it. There are two, I don't want to call them bitches in the zodiac, but the way they have been described in previous tarot readers, there are two bitches in the zodiac. There's the Queen of Wands, and there's the Queen of Swords in the reverse. When we deal with this kind of energy, it's like not the feminine positioning in which you can actually receive information or receive love or receive certain things. It's when you're kind of like, you're dissatisfied with it, and then you're lashing out instead of being emotionally mature about those things. So with the Queen of Swords in the reverse, shows that you feel wronged, but you're expressing that wrongness in a very destructive way, because the challenge that you are seeing right now is being able to face the fears that you have regarding your lot in life. And from what this deals with, and I see this at the bottom of the deck, which I am taking as the signifiers for this reading, and then here, hey, we've got your card too as well. So we have the Star. We also have the Queen of Cups. We have the Sun. And we have the Six of Wands. So this is about a person who wants to be seen. The Star is a public figure. The Six of Wands is a public figure as well. The Sun is a public figure. And then what was the other card that we had? Yeah, the Queen of Cups. Someone who feels at a deep level about their emotional state. You want to be seen and heard in some part of your life, some part or aspect of your daily affairs. And you don't feel that way. Instead, what you feel is tormented. And it is this inner torment that is actually creating for you a situation where now you're kind of being forced to deal with this challenge And if you don't succeed, there could be severe consequences for you in that regard. When we talk about what took place in the recent past, you have the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. This talks about, it can talk about juggling things and maybe having to deal with multiple responsibilities within your life. But what I see this is not being clear on what your value system is, because the Pentacles are typically your values, things that you hold dear. And we have clarifying this is the Knight of Wands. So in the recent past, it almost feels like, if I put this again, you have the King of Cups now here too. It almost feels like in the recent past, these were the two value systems that you had. King of Cups, being emotionally mature and responsible. On the other pentacle, you had the Knight of Wands, being carefree, spirited, and pursuing adventure. These are the two pentacles that you were juggling within your life, the value systems that you have created for yourself. They're kind of almost like a dichotomy between knowing yourself deep within, as the King of Cups would, in the face of all the chaos around it, and going out there pursuing certain things, being a player, and, dare I may say, getting played in the process. And so with this fruitless pursuit, I think you may have prioritized the King of Wands to a degree. And what that has done has now led you to all of this mental conflict and confusion and chaos that you're currently facing. And the reason why I say that is because the path that you've chosen, if you continue on that, it's going to lead to this. Five of Swords, Two of Cups in the reverse, Three of Swords. I'm not a very happy-go-lucky reader. I'm not the type that says, like, everyone's going to get a fucking pony. And I'm not the Oprah Winfrey of tarot readers. I don't sit here and try to bullshit people and say, you're getting all this happy, positive stuff because reasons. I am a purveyor of the shadow, and I help to bring the light to people from the shadow that I explore within each of the different 12 zodiac signs that I'm reading for. And in this one specifically, your shadow is the failure to illuminate your path. Aquarius, you are the star and you are the fool. And you take risk on certain things. And for the longest time that I've been reading these cards, there has been an ongoing saga with Aquarius where there has been this attitude towards life where they have just kind of indulged in being a bit of a player or seeking the shallow and superficial. That's kind of what the Knight of Wands does. And that there is a need to go deep within and heal whatever has been taking place within your life. So that way you can finally get on the right path. You're going to, if these cards are right, these are a warning. And what this says to us is that you're on the path to ruin. And I'm saying that because that's what my intuition tells me. But being on the path to ruin is not a good path to take. You still have the ability to turn around. And due to the fact that you want to externalize your happiness, with all these four cards that I see here, we have been looking through all of these. The Sun, you want happiness, you want joy, you want to see things as being lucrative in your life and being, footloose, fancy free, all of this stuff. At the core of your reading, it's even showing up. You have the Ace of Wands and the Son of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups. You want sex, you want love, and that's fine. It's shown up at your core. It also showed up in the two things that you were juggling in the past: sex and love. But this is what you're getting. And does that look like love to you? Does that even look like getting laid to you? This is going to extrapolate from the core energies that you have right now. The guiding force within your life right now is the Nine of Swords. It's not the things that you think you want to experiment with or to juggle or to adapt with through the recent past energy, or the things that you really want, which are these. And whatever it is that you have chosen to do in order to pursue those things, and I'll just say it because I just don't give a shit anymore. Honestly, I don't care. I have had throughout my life, my empathy has matured in some ways, but it has also become less active, to say the least, because I think that we grow up in a world of safe spaces, and I think I'm the person that's going to break all those safe spaces. We don't need safe spaces; we need strength. And in this Aquarius, you have essentially, if this is the Aquarius I'm speaking to, if not, just click off and don't worry out about it. These are the energies guiding what is at your crown, the devil in the reverse, the Seven of Wands in the reverse, the Eight of Swords in the reverse. You are fighting the devil within. It is not the devil that is external. The devil is oftentimes an internal manifestation of all of the negative things, the Saturnian things that you have to focus on. Remember, if you want to look at the Abrahamic mythology of the so-called devil, whether it takes place in the form of Samael, whether it takes place in the form of Lucifer, or all these things, Satan, whatever, Has-Satan, Helal, all of those, Iblis. The devil's job is a prosecutor. That was his initial job. And it was to look into the hearts of men and women and to test them to see whether or not they could endure and build solid foundations for what it is. Whether it was the book of Job, whether it was Jacob wrestling the angel, things of that nature. Lot's wife looking back at the city and then being turned into a pillar of salt. We lead ourselves to destruction. Just make no mistake about it. This reading screams to me of this message, and that's why I'm saying it. Because I don't think people listen to these types of messages enough. And the reason why I have such a hermetic lifestyle, not hermetic in the sense of hermeticism, but in the sense that I live like a fucking hermit these days, is because I see what's taking place in the hearts of men and women around me and my environment and stuff. And it's very tiring. It's very heavy. And so I have to retreat back. But what I see in all of this is that I see someone who allows their demons to win, who allows their devils to win, because they are fixated and obsessed about something. The devil also rules obsessions. And rather than facing the shadow side of those obsessions, they're choosing to let those things drag them down into the depths of hell. Why do you think people fall into hell? It's the gravity that you create within your microcosm, your world. That gravity pulls you down, or it can lift you up. We saw that oftentimes in the weighing of the heart ceremony that takes place in Egyptian mythology, where people had their heart weighed on a scale similar to Libra. And if the heart was too heavy, the soul was destroyed and recycled, essentially. So it was like one of the universe's first recycling systems, which was Almam, which was a kind of beast that looked like a hippopotamus, but it devoured the heart. And right now, I see the jaws of Alman clamping down on you in this. There should not be a long-standing saga of an Aquarius, whatever Aquarius I'm speaking to, and I pray it's not all of you, because we need some Aquariuses to be happy and healthy and to do all of the things they need to in life. But with this Aquarius I've been speaking to, whoever this resonates with, you are bitter, you are angry, and you are full of toxic thoughts because of these things that you have prioritized, sex and love, rather than giving these two energies to yourself, which is giving yourself a new start, a new passion, and being able to be emotionally mature. You have not reflected on things internally, you have externalized your happiness. And because of this, the universe and the elements are going to ravage you in the only way they know how to, which is when you externalize your happiness, you're going to be chasing it the rest of your life. That's chasing it with the King of Wands, chasing after that happiness instead of going within and just knowing that you're happy and knowing that happiness is a portable thing. That's how you defeat the devil. After the devil comes the tower, that insight, that realization, and then the star comes after that for card 17. So what you're being called upon to do right now, and this is the advice that I'm giving you, is that looking outward for your happiness will lead to your destruction. Looking inward for your happiness will lead to your salvation. The devil is a tempter in many ways, in many regards, Samuel and riding the snake in the Garden of Eden, or tempting, Christ at the, in the desert, whatever mythology you choose to look at. I'm just looking at it from a Abrahamic sense, which I'm not an Abrahamist at all, but it's good mythology to at least relate to the majority of people listening to this tarot reading. That said, I do like to explore some of the Abrahamic mythologies related to the seraphim and the archangels and so on. So with this, we have the archangel Sheliel, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And this is the angel of snow, and this talks a lot about when things are frozen over in your life, when that first winter comes, and I'm just channeling this, when that winter comes in your life, how do you protect yourself against the elements? Do you prefer to freeze and allow the external environment around you to bring your life to a crawl? Or do you allow yourself to bundle up, prepare for these winters so that way you can endure them, go into hibernation? And that hibernation is what you need to do in order to go within and to face yourself. Why do you need this, this external validation? Why do you need your happiness to come from a source outside of yourself? And I say this from experience because I did this for a while. And it wasn't until I started going within and exploring who I was and exploring what my likes and dislikes were, and also exploring, what my personal capabilities were, where I found my happiness was in some of the simplest things. When I was forced to lose everything, and I did lose everything, including nearly losing my mind, in a respect, that was when I was able to see the light shine brighter than any other time in my life. Would I change it for the world? Fuck no. Because it broke me out of my rut. And my rut was looking for external validation. Oh, I need that good job so that I can impress my family, or I need to make a lot of money so I can happily start a family and get into a marriage and all that. It didn't take place because I needed to focus on who I was. My North Node is in Cancer. It has fuck all to do with you. That's, proverbially speaking. And with that North Node in Cancer, it's about me going within and finding out where I am happy within myself. It has nothing to do with the person down the street. It has nothing to do with the woman I choose to marry. It has nothing to do with the people I try to impress at work. Fuck all of that. It's you that is the source of your happiness. And if you continue to stay on this path, you have the Four of Wands in the reverse, and then the Father of Swords, which is the King of Swords in the reverse. Do you know how vampires are born? We're looking into some other mythology. Vampires were looking for validation. You know, if you look at Count Dracula, he loved a woman dearly. His heart was broken. He made a pact with evil. And that was what turned him into a vampire. Vampires need that external validation. Vampires, in this case, are narcissists. I'm not saying you're a narcissist, but I'm saying this is how narcissists are born. They need the external validation to make themselves feel better because they cannot cast a reflection. They cannot reflect on their lives. They cannot reflect on the choices they've made, the actions they've taken. Instead, it is externalized. The blame is shifted into the world around them. They see people as a source of energy to which they can drain using any means necessary to do that. And with the growing pandemic of narcissism taking place in our natural world today, which is another reason why I stay to myself, I have had to face these things throughout my life, dealing with some of my most intimate connections. And this is me just being open and honest with everyone. When you are able to understand how narcissists work and how they interact with people and what their motivations and aims and intentions are, then you're able to know how to face them and deal with them accordingly. Now, I want you to start doing the work immediately so that way you do not go down this path as well, where you are slowly changing. You have now been bitten, and now you're facing a very destructive path. This is just to the Aquarius I'm speaking to. If this is someone you're dealing with, and this energy is related to that, then of course you can take it accordingly. But the energy that I see here is very, very Saturnine, and it's very do or die now or never. And I think that in order for you to survive this, you don't have a lot of time left. This is for until mid-February. If this is true with the cards that I've pulled out, and this is supposed to take place within a certain time frame, you have until Valentine's Day to get your shit together. Or you're going to be spending Valentine's Day in this energy. God help you if that takes place. Yeah, I'm not going to bullshit you, Aquarius. I want more positive readings from the Aquarius side of things. I haven't seen very many of them. And I'm praying that in the future we can see some really happy stuff, because I love Aquarians. Based on the whole signs, astrology, I have a stellium in the 11th house. I have Uranus in my first. And so, I empathize and I admire Aquarians quite a bit. But the chaos that is entering into the Aquarian collective at this point in time has to stop. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't care if this reading gets 0 fucking views, honestly. I'm just going to say what needs to be said and go on about my life about it. Thank you very much for, this message. I'm going to leave it there. Take care, love and light, and Godspeed.